Welcome back to Mr. Moore PE. Thanks for your likes and subscribes. We're up to almost 200 now, which is amazing. Today we're going to look at a GCSE concept that students find very, very difficult, and it's levers. A little bit boring, but it's always an exam between 3 and 5 marks. So let's explore what it is. The first thing you need to know about levers is they have components, and components mean parts, like a component of a car might be the engine, the tyre, anything that's working. So levers have 3 components. They have a fulcrum, which is symbolised by this triangle here. That's the fulcrum, pivot point. They have an effort and they have a load as well. So the effort and the load are symbolised, the load by the square and the effort by the arrow, which will either point up, down or to the side. So these are the 3 components that we're going to draw, and you'll see them in my lever system below, and they'll be consistent in all the levers that I draw. A nice easy way to remember levers is 1, 2, 3, F, L, E. F stands for fulcrum, L stands for load, E stands for effort. So with this nice little rhyme, you can always remember that whatever letter this is here is in the middle component of the lever. Okay, so here's a first class lever below. So this is the first class lever. And the first class lever is really rare in a PE exam. They won't ask you for it, but we're going to talk about it just to complete the 3. So here, 1, 2, 3, F, L, E, we can see that the fulcrum is in the middle pivot point of the lever, and then we've got the effort at this end and we've got the load at this end. So in the context of sport, that type of lever system might be when you're turning your head from side to side. Not something they're going to talk about. They mostly want to talk about second class and third class levers, which we'll look at now. So we're going to look at a second class lever now, which did come up last year. It's quite a rare one, but there are some sporting movements that use it. So this is called a second class lever. We can see that we've got the same line, but what we've got here is a fulcrum at this end of the point. We've got the effort at the far end, and we've got the load in between. So a great sporting example of this is, if you imagine I've got a big barbell behind me, and I am doing what we call a lift. So I'm weightlifting, and I'm in this position, and I just stand up on my toes. So we've got dorsiflexion and plantarflexion of the feet. And what happens here is there's a massive distance between the fulcrum, which is essentially my ankle point, and the effort, which is the actual effort load of the muscles lifting the weight. So in this position, we're like here. So we're pushing up and we're doing what's called a calf raise in that position. Okay. So it's a really interesting one because it's a very effective lever system for when you're lifting heavy weights. It wouldn't be particularly good for lifting light weights, but when there's a long distance between the fulcrum and the effort, it's really good for lifting heavy weight. So this is the third and final and the most common lever system. It is the third class lever. And we've got our 1, 2, 3 FLE, so we can see that the effort's now the middle component of the lever system, the load is at the end, and the fulcrum is here. And the best example of this really that you'll get in a PE exam is the arm. So if we look at the arm, if I lay my arm alongside it, we can see that the load is the weight that I might be lifting. So let's say, for example, that is 10 kg. Hopefully I can lift that. The effort is how much muscle effort is going to go in to lift that 10 kg weight. And the fulcrum is the pivot point, the movement point, where that comes about. Now, E for effort, E for elbow, the way to remember this one is essentially this action. So if I put the pen here, and I imagine that's a 10 kg weight, if I've got enough muscle power in my bicep to lift that, then this third class lever system is effective, because it's about the effort being located between the fulcrum and the load. So here's the fulcrum, here's the load, and the effort's between the 2. However, it's a disadvantage if I lift a really heavy weight. So let's change that. Let's say that's 50 kg. If I tried to lift 50 kg on a bicep curl, I wouldn't have enough effort in order to move it because I don't have enough muscular strength. So that will become a disadvantage for this lever system. So the exam always talks about third class lever. We've got the effort in the middle, fulcrum over here, with load over there. It's really effective if it's a load that you can lift, but when the load becomes more than the effort, this system doesn't work.